Hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here today. Thank you for spending this time with me. Today, I want to talk about something many English learners carry every day: worry. Maybe you know this feeling. You open an English book, and you worry. You listen to an English story, and you worry. You try to speak, and you worry even more. Is my English good enough? Is my accent strange? Did I use the wrong grammar? What if I forget a word? What if I speak too slowly? What if I do not understand everything? What if other people learn faster than me? There are so many things to worry about. Can I ask you something? Does all that worry help you learn? Or does it make English feel heavier? Can we think about one young woman? She had studied English for 2 years. Every morning, she listened to a short English story. Every evening, she learned new words. She worked hard. But she was never happy with her English. When she understood a story, she worried about the words she did not understand. When she spoke one good sentence, she worried about one small mistake. When she learned 10 new words, she worried about the 100 words she did not know. One day, she was sitting in a small park. She had her English book with her. An old woman sat beside her. The old woman smiled. "What are you reading?" The young woman answered, "An English book. Do you enjoy it?" The young woman thought for a moment. "I don't know." The old woman looked surprised. "You don't know?" The young woman sighed. "I'm always worried." "Worried about what?" "My English." The old woman smiled. "Is your English in danger?" The young woman laughed. "No." "Then why are you always worried about it?" The young woman became quiet. She had never thought about that question. The old woman pointed at a small tree. "Look at that tree." The young woman looked. "What about it? Do you think the tree is worried?" The young woman laughed again. "Worried about what?" "Maybe it is worried about the taller tree. Maybe it is worried because it has only 20 leaves. Maybe it thinks it should grow faster." The young woman smiled. "Trees don't think like that." The old woman nodded. "They simply grow." The young woman looked at the tree again. The wind moved its small green leaves. It was not the tallest tree in the park. It was not the biggest, but it was growing. Can I ask you something? Maybe your English is growing too. Maybe you do not need to worry about it every day. Of course, learning takes work. Practice is important. Good habits are important. But worry? Worry is different. Worry can make one small mistake feel very big. It can make one slow day feel like failure. It can make you forget how far you have already come. Today, I want to share 7 things you should stop worrying about when learning English. Maybe you worry about one of them. Maybe 3. Maybe all 7. That is okay. You do not need to change everything today. Just listen, think, and maybe put down one small worry. Because learning English is already a long journey. You do not need to make the road heavier. So, let us begin with the first thing you should stop worrying about: your accent. Can I ask you something? Have you ever heard your English voice and thought, "I sound strange"? Maybe you recorded yourself. You listened to the recording, and suddenly, you did not like your voice. "My accent is too strong. I don't sound like the people in English videos. I need to sound more natural." Can we think about one young man? He loved learning English. He listened every day. He learned many useful phrases. But he was afraid to speak. Why? Because of his accent. One afternoon, His English teacher asked him a question. What is your favorite food? The young man knew the answer. He loved noodles, but he answered very quietly. Noodles? The teacher smiled. Why are you speaking so quietly? The young man looked down. I don't like my accent. The teacher looked surprised. Why not? I don't sound like you. The teacher smiled. Of course you don't. The young man looked confused. Isn't that bad? The teacher shook her head. No. You grew up speaking another language. Your voice carries your story. The young man became quiet. The teacher continued. Can I understand you? Yes. Can we talk to each other? Yes. Then your English is working. Can I ask you something? What is the job of language? Is it to make everyone sound the same? No. It is to help people understand each other. People around the world speak English. They have different voices, different sounds, different accents. That is normal. Of course, clear pronunciation is useful. You can practice difficult sounds. You can listen and repeat. You can become easier to understand. But you do not need to erase your voice. Can I tell you one more thing? Think about a garden. There are many flowers. Red flowers, yellow flowers, small flowers, large flowers. Would the garden be more beautiful if every flower looked the same? Of course not. Different flowers make the garden interesting. Voices can be like that too. Your accent is not something you need to hide. It is part of your journey. Children do not stop speaking because their pronunciation is not perfect. They speak. They listen. They change slowly. Maybe we can do the same. Do not ask, do I sound perfect? Ask, can people understand me? That question is more useful. Speak clearly. Speak slowly if you need to. Practice sounds that are difficult for you. But do not hate your voice. Your voice is the place where your English lives. Give it time. Let it grow. That is the first thing you should stop worrying about. Your accent. And the simple answer, you do not need to sound like everyone else. You only need to keep using your voice. The second thing you should stop worrying about is small grammar mistakes. Can I ask you something? Have you ever said one sentence, then suddenly stopped? Oh no, I used the wrong verb. That sentence was wrong. Then, you thought about the mistake for the next 10 minutes. Can we think about one woman? She was talking to her English-speaking friend. They were having coffee. Her friend asked, "What did you do yesterday?" The woman smiled. "I go to the market." Then she stopped. Her eyes became wide. "Sorry, I went to the market." Her friend smiled. "Okay." But the woman was still thinking about the mistake. A few minutes later, her friend told a funny story. The woman laughed. Then suddenly, she remembered the mistake again. I said go. I should have said went. After the conversation, she went home. She sat on her bed, and she thought, my English is terrible. Can I ask you something? What happened to the rest of the conversation? They talked for 30 minutes. They laughed. They understood each other. But the woman remembered only one small mistake. Why? Because worry made the mistake bigger. Can I tell you something? Small grammar mistakes are normal. Even people who speak English very well make mistakes. People begin sentences, then change them. They use the wrong word. They forget things. Language is not always perfect. It is alive. Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine a long road. You walk 1,000 steps. Then, You step on one small stone. Would you say, my whole walk was terrible? Of course not. It was only one stone. A small grammar mistake is like that. One small stone. Notice it. Learn from it. Then continue walking. Children do this naturally. They make mistakes. Someone helps them. They hear the correct sentence. Then, little by little, they improve. They do not sit in their rooms all night thinking about one wrong verb. Maybe we can learn from them. If you make a mistake, you can correct it. Or you can simply continue. Both are okay. The conversation does not need to stop. Your confidence does not need to disappear. Can I ask you another question? What is more important? One perfect sentence? Or 10 simple sentences that help you communicate? Many learners wait for perfect English. But communication does not need perfection. It needs connection. So the next time you make a small grammar mistake, take a moment. Learn what you can. Then let it go. Do not carry one small mistake all day. You have more English to use, more stories to hear, more sentences to say. That is the second thing you should stop worrying about. Small grammar mistakes. And the simple answer, a mistake is one moment. It is not your whole English journey. The third thing you should stop worrying about is forgetting words. Can I ask you something? Have you ever learned a word, then forgotten it the next day? You looked at the word. I know this. I studied this yesterday, but the meaning was gone. Then you became disappointed. Why do I always forget? Maybe my memory is bad. Maybe I can't learn English. Can we think about one little boy? He was learning the names of animals in English. His teacher showed him a picture. What is this? The boy smiled. Elephant. Very good. The teacher showed another picture. Dog. Good. Then, she showed him a picture of a giraffe. The boy became quiet. He knew the word. He had learned it before. He closed his eyes. G. The teacher waited. The boy tried again. G. Then he laughed. I forgot. The teacher smiled. That's okay. She said, giraffe. The boy repeated, giraffe. The next week, the teacher showed him the picture again. The boy smiled. Giraffe. Can I ask you something? Did forgetting the word mean the boy could never learn it? No. He simply needed to meet the word again. Many learners believe they should remember every word after seeing it once. But our minds do not always work that way. We learn. We forget. We meet the word again. We remember a little more. Then we forget again. Then, one day, the word stays. Can I tell you one more thing? Think about walking through a field. The first time, there is no path. The grass is high. Walking is difficult. The second time, you can see where you walked before. The third time, the path becomes clearer. After many walks, you do not need to think about the way. Words can be like that. Every time you meet a word, you walk the path again. Listen to it. Read it. Say it. Use it. Then return another day. Little by little, the path becomes stronger. So do not become angry when you forget. Forgetting is not always failure. Sometimes, it is simply part of remembering. Children forget words too. They ask the same question again. They hear the same story again. They repeat the same phrase again. And no one says, you heard this word once. Why don't you remember it forever? Maybe we should give ourselves the same patience. Can I ask you another question? How many English words do you know today that were once difficult? Probably many. At one time, you did not know them. Then you learned them. Maybe you forgot them. Then you met them again. Now, they feel easy. That can happen with the words you are learning today, too. Give them time. Meet them again. Use them again. Do not worry when one word disappears. It may come back tomorrow. That is the third thing you should stop worrying about. Forgetting words. And the simple answer, you do not need to remember everything the first time. Learning often means meeting the same thing again and again. The fourth thing you should stop worrying about is speaking slowly. Can I ask you something? Do you ever listen to a fast English speaker? Then look at yourself and think, I'm too slow? Maybe you need time to answer a question. Maybe you stop between sentences. Maybe you search for a word, and because of that, you feel your English is bad. Can we think about one young woman? She joined an English conversation group. There were 5 people. One man spoke very quickly. Another woman answered questions easily. But the young woman needed more time. Someone asked, "What do you like to do on weekends?" She thought. Then she said, "I like..." She stopped. Everyone waited. The young woman became nervous. "Sorry." One person smiled. "Take your time." The young woman thought again. "I like walking." She smiled. "And I like watching movies." The group continued talking. Later, another person came to her. "I liked what you said about movies." The young woman looked surprised. "You did?" "Yes. But I spoke so slowly." The person smiled. "I didn't care. I understood you. Can I ask you something? Why do we believe fast English is always better English? Fast speaking is one skill, but clear speaking is important too. Thinking is normal. Stopping is normal. Taking time is normal. You are learning. Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine 2 people walking up a mountain. One person walks quickly. The other walks slowly. Who reaches the top? Maybe both. They simply move at different speeds. Your English journey is the same. Someone may answer quickly. You may need 5 seconds. That is okay. Those 5 seconds do not mean you are failing. They mean you are thinking. Children speak slowly when they are learning too. They search for words. They stop. They begin again. Then, with time, they become faster, not because someone shouted, "Speak faster," but because they kept speaking. Maybe we can do the same. Do not push yourself to speak faster than your English is ready to move. Speak clearly. Use simple sentences. Give yourself time. Speed can come later. Can I tell you one more thing? A river does not become more beautiful because it moves faster. Some rivers move quickly. Some move slowly. But they are still moving. Your English is moving too. Maybe slowly today. A little faster tomorrow. Then slowly again. That is normal. So the next time someone asks you a question, do not become afraid of the silence. Take a moment. Think. Then answer. You can say, "Let me think." You can say, "That's a good question." You can smile. Then speak when you are ready. That is the fourth thing you should stop worrying about. Speaking slowly. And the simple answer, slow English is still English. Keep speaking. Keep practicing. And give your words time to find their way outside. The fifth thing you should stop worrying about is not understanding everything. Can I ask you something? What happens when you listen to an English story and you do not understand one word? Do you keep listening? Or do you stop? Maybe you think, what does that word mean? Then another word comes. You miss it. Then another. Soon, you are not listening to the story anymore. You are thinking about one word. Can we think about one young man? He loved watching English videos. One evening, he found a short video about travel. The speaker talked about a beautiful town. The young man understood many things. He understood the place. He understood the story. He understood why the speaker liked the town. Then, he heard one word he did not know. He stopped the video. He looked for the word. Then he started the video again. A few seconds later, another new word came. He stopped again. He searched again. Then another word. And another. 20 minutes later, the young man was tired. The video was only 5 minutes long. He closed his computer. English is too difficult. Can I ask you something? Was English really too difficult? Or was he asking himself to understand too much? The next day, his teacher gave him some advice. Watch the video again. But this time, do not stop. The young man looked worried. What if I don't understand a word? The teacher smiled. Keep listening. What if I don't understand 2 words? Keep listening. What if I don't understand 10 words? The teacher laughed. Can you still understand the story? The young man thought for a moment. Maybe. Then keep listening. That evening, the young man watched the video again. A new word came. He wanted to stop, but he continued. Then another new word came. Again, he continued. At the end of the video, something surprised him. He understood the main idea. He smiled. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough. Can I ask you another question? What if enough is enough? Many learners believe good English means understanding every word. But even in your own language, do you always hear every word? Do you always understand every idea? Probably not. Sometimes, you miss something, but you continue. English can be the same. Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine walking through a forest. You do not need to look at every leaf. You do not need to count every tree. You can still enjoy the forest. A story is like that. A conversation is like that. Sometimes, you can miss one small thing and still understand the whole picture. Children do this naturally. They hear words they do not know, but they keep listening. They watch faces. They look at what is happening. They use the words they already know. Then, little by little, the new words become familiar. Maybe we can do the same. When you listen, do not fight with every new word. Let some words pass. Stay with the story. Stay with the main idea. Ask yourself, what do I understand? Not only, what don't I understand? That small change can make English feel very different. So the next time you listen to a story, try something. Listen until the end. Do not stop every 10 seconds. Let the story move. Let yourself miss a few things. Then ask, did I understand the main idea? If the answer is yes, smile. Your English worked. That is the 5th thing you should stop worrying about. Not understanding everything. And the simple answer, you do not need every word to understand something meaningful. Sometimes, understanding enough is already a beautiful kind of progress. The 6th thing you should stop worrying about is other people's progress. Can I ask you something? Have you ever met someone who started learning English after you, but seemed to improve faster? Maybe they spoke more easily. Maybe they remembered words quickly. Maybe they understood videos you found difficult. Then, you looked at yourself. Why am I so slow? What am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm not good at English. Can we think about two young boys? They lived near the same mountain. One spring morning, they decided to climb to the top. The first boy was strong. He walked quickly. The second boy moved more slowly. After 1 hour, the first boy was far ahead. The second boy looked up. He could barely see his friend. He became disappointed. I'm too slow. He thought about turning around. Then, an old man walked past him. The old man smiled. Why are you stopping? My friend is already far ahead. The old man looked up the mountain. Are you walking to his top? The boy looked confused. What? The old man smiled. Or are you walking to your top? The boy became quiet. The old man continued. The mountain does not ask everyone to arrive at the same time. Then, he continued walking. The boy looked at the road. He took another step, then another. He walked slowly, but he kept moving. Along the way, he saw a small waterfall. He stopped to drink water. He saw birds in the trees. He smiled. Hours later, he reached the top. His friend was waiting. You made it. The second boy smiled. Yes, I did. Can I ask you something? Was his journey less important because it took longer? No. Did the mountain care who arrived first? No. Learning English can be the same. Someone learns words quickly. Someone needs more repetition. Someone loves speaking. Someone needs more time to feel comfortable. Someone has 3 hours a day to study. Someone has only 20 minutes. Our lives are different. Our minds are different. Our journeys are different. So why do we expect our progress to look the same? Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine a garden. One flower opens in spring. Another opens in summer. Would you tell the summer flower, you are too late? Of course not. It is simply growing in its own time. Your English can grow in its own time too. Other learners can help you. They can inspire you. You can learn from them, but you do not need to become them. Look at your own road. Think about where you started. Maybe 6 months ago. You could not understand this kind of story. Maybe 1 year ago. You were afraid to say one sentence. Maybe today. You still make mistakes, but you continue. That matters. Children do not all learn at the same speed. One child walks early. Another child walks later, but both can learn to walk. Maybe we can remember that. So the next time you see someone learning faster, do not use their progress to hurt yourself. Smile. Learn what you can. Then return to your own path. Your job is not to win a race. Your job is to continue your journey. That is the sixth thing you should stop worrying about. Other people's progress. And the simple answer, their road is not your road. Keep your eyes on the next step in front of you. The seventh thing you should stop worrying about is how long it takes. Can I ask you something? Have you ever asked, how long will it take me to speak English well? 3 months? 1 year? 5 years? Maybe you searched online. How many hours do I need? How many words do I need? When will I become fluent? You want an answer. A clear answer. A date. A number. But learning does not always work that way. Can we think about one little girl? She planted a small apple seed. Every morning, she went outside. She looked at the ground. The first morning, nothing. The second morning, nothing. After 1 week, still nothing. The girl became worried. She called her father. Dad, something is wrong. Her father came outside. What happened? My tree isn't growing. Her father looked at the ground. When did you plant the seed? Last week. Her father smiled. Give it time. The girl crossed her arms. How much time? Her father laughed. More than 1 week. The girl sighed. Every morning. She continued checking. Then one day, a tiny green plant came out of the ground. The girl shouted, Dad, come quickly. Her father came outside. It's growing. The girl smiled. Yes. Then she looked at the tiny plant. When will I get apples? Her father laughed again. Give it more time. Can I ask you something? Maybe we are like that little girl. We start learning English. Then, after 1 month, we check. Am I fluent? After 6 months, we check again. Why am I still making mistakes? After 1 year, we ask, why is this taking so long? But some things need time. Not because you are doing something wrong. Not because you are bad at learning. Because growth takes time. Can I tell you one more thing? A tree does not become stronger by worrying about the calendar. It grows because it receives water, sunlight, good soil, and time. Your English needs similar things. Listening, reading, speaking, useful words, practice, rest, and time. Maybe you cannot control how quickly everything grows, but you can choose what you do today. Listen to one story. Learn one phrase. Say one sentence. Then, come back tomorrow. That is enough. Children do not ask every morning, am I finished learning my language? They simply live. They listen. They speak. They learn. Day after day. Maybe we can do the same. Do not spend all your time asking when the journey will end. Use some of that time to enjoy where you are now. Can I ask you another question? What if English takes longer than you hoped? Will that make the journey useless? No. The stories you enjoy today are real. The sentences you understand today are real. The small conversations you have today are real. Your life does not begin after you become fluent. Your English journey is happening now. Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine watching the sun go down. Would you become angry because it moves slowly? Would you shout, faster? Probably not. You watch. You wait. You enjoy the changing sky. Maybe learning can be like that too. Some changes are slow, but slow does not mean nothing is happening. So stop asking yourself every day, how long will this take? Ask, what small thing can I do today? That question is easier. That question can help you move. That is the 7th thing you should stop worrying about. How long it takes? And the simple answer, give your English what it needs. Then give it time to grow. Now, we have talked about 7 things. Your accent, small grammar mistakes, forgetting words, speaking slowly, not understanding everything, other people's progress, and how long learning takes. Can I ask you something? Which worry do you carry most often? Maybe you worry about your voice. Maybe mistakes stay in your mind for too long. Maybe you feel bad when you forget a word. Maybe you want to speak faster. Maybe you believe you must understand everything. Maybe you compare your journey with someone else's. Or maybe you are simply tired of waiting. Can we think about one traveler? He wanted to walk across a long country road. Before leaving, he packed a large bag. Inside, he put food, water, clothes. Those things were useful. But then, he added more. What if it rains? He packed 3 large coats. What if I become bored? He packed 10 books. What if I need this? What if I need that? Soon, the bag was very heavy. The traveler put it on his back. He took 10 steps. Then he stopped. This road is too difficult. An old woman was sitting nearby. She looked at his bag. Is the road difficult? Yes, very difficult. The woman smiled. Or is your bag too heavy? The traveler became quiet. He opened the bag. He looked inside. Many things were not needed. He took them out. Then, he put the bag on his back again. He started walking. The road had not changed, but the journey felt easier. Can I ask you something? Maybe English is sometimes like that. The road is already long, but then we fill our bags with worry. My accent is bad. My grammar is not perfect. I forgot another word. I'm too slow. I don't understand everything. Other people are better. This is taking too long. Then, we try to walk. Of course we feel tired. Can I tell you something? Putting down worry does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you stop learning. It does not mean you stop improving. It simply means you carry what helps you, and you put down what does not. Practice helps you. Carry it. Patience helps you. Carry it. Curiosity helps you. Carry it. Joy helps you. Carry it. But fear, comparison, the need to be perfect, maybe you can leave some of those things beside the road. You do not need them for every step. Can I tell you one more thing? A lighter traveler can walk farther, not because the road becomes shorter, but because the traveler has more strength to continue. Maybe that is what your English needs. Not another reason to worry, but more strength to continue. So today, look inside the bag you are carrying. Choose one worry. Only one. Take it out. Maybe say, my accent does not need to be perfect. Or, I can make small mistakes. Or, I do not need to understand every word. Then, take another step. Tomorrow, maybe you can put down something else. Little by little, the journey may begin to feel lighter. Can I share another story with you? There was a young man who wanted to cross a wide river. He found a small boat. He sat inside. Then he began to row. The river was calm, but the young man was worried. What if the boat moves too slowly? He rowed faster. What if I am going the wrong way? He looked left, then right. What if another boat passes me? He looked behind him. What if I never reach the other side? He became more and more nervous. Soon, his arms were tired. The boat was moving in circles. An old fisherman watched from nearby. He called out, "Where are you looking?" The young man answered, "Everywhere." The fisherman laughed. Maybe that is the problem. The young man looked confused. The fisherman pointed across the river. Choose where you want to go, then row. The young man looked at the other side. He took a moment. Then, he began to row again, slowly. One movement, then another. He stopped looking behind him. He stopped watching the other boats. He stopped asking how much time was left. He simply rowed. After some time, the boat reached the other side. The young man looked back. He smiled. The river had felt so difficult before, but the river was not the only problem. His worry had been moving him in every direction. Can I ask you something? Could your English journey feel like that sometimes? You want to learn, but your mind moves everywhere. My pronunciation, my grammar, my vocabulary, my speed, my level, other learners, fluency. You try to fix everything at once. Then, you feel tired. Maybe you do not need to row in every direction. Choose one small direction. Today. Listen. Tomorrow. Use one phrase. The next day. Speak for 1 minute. Then continue. Can I tell you one more thing? Progress often feels quiet. One movement. Then another. One sentence. Then another. One day. Then another. You may not feel something changing every moment, but if you keep moving, the other side becomes closer. So do not let worry move your boat in circles. Look forward. Choose one small thing, then row. Slowly is okay. Mistakes are okay. Resting is okay. Just return to the direction you chose. Because sometimes, the best way to move forward is not to try harder. It is to stop worrying about every direction and take one simple step toward the place you want to go. Can I ask you something? What would happen if you learned English for 1 day without worrying about being good at it? Just 1 day. Can we think about one young woman? She had studied English for a long time. Every morning, she listened to English. Every evening, she studied new words. But she always felt tired. When she listened, she worried about the words she missed. When she spoke, she worried about mistakes. When she read, she worried about reading too slowly. One morning, she woke up and thought, I don't want to worry today. She did not make a big plan. She did not promise to study for 3 hours. She simply said, today I will enjoy English. While making breakfast, she played a short English story. There were words she did not understand. Usually, she would stop the story. She would search for every word. But this time, she kept listening. She understood the main idea. She smiled. Later, she looked outside. The sky was blue. She said, beautiful day. The sentence was simple. She did not worry about making it longer. She drank her coffee. Good coffee. She laughed. This is very easy English. Then she thought, that's okay. In the afternoon, she forgot an English word. Usually, she would become angry with herself. But this time, she smiled. I forgot. Then she used another word. In the evening, she thought about her day. Something felt different. She had not learned 50 new words. She had not studied difficult grammar. She had not spoken perfect English. But she wanted to use English again tomorrow. Can I ask you something? Isn't that important? Sometimes, we think a good learning day must be difficult. We think we need to feel tired. We think we need to study many things. But what if a good learning day is simply a day that helps you return tomorrow? Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine walking a long road. You can run as fast as possible. Maybe you will move far today, but tomorrow, your legs may hurt. You may not want to walk again. Or you can walk at a comfortable speed. You can look around. You can rest when you need to. Then, tomorrow. You can continue. English is a long journey. You need a way of learning that you can return to again and again and again. Worry can make you work hard for one day, but joy can help you continue for years. So maybe the question is not, how much English did I learn today? Maybe the question is, do I want to come back tomorrow? If the answer is yes, you are doing something right. Can I share another story with you? There was a little boy who was learning to ride a bicycle. His father held the back of the bicycle. The boy put his feet on the pedals. He started moving. Then, the bicycle moved to one side. The boy became scared. "Don't let go!" His father smiled. "I've got you." They tried again. The boy moved forward. Then, he almost fell. He stopped. "I can't do this." His father sat beside him. "Why do you think that?" "I keep making mistakes." His father smiled. "Of course you do." The boy looked surprised. "Of course?" "Yes. You're learning." The boy became quiet. His father pointed at the bicycle. "Do you think anyone learns to ride without moving from side to side?" The boy thought for a moment. "No." "Do you think anyone learns without falling?" "Maybe not." His father nodded. "Then why are you asking yourself to be different?" The boy looked at the bicycle again. A few minutes later, he tried one more time. The bicycle moved left, then right. The boy laughed. "I'm doing it badly." His father laughed too. "Yes, but you're doing it." The boy smiled. He continued. "Can I ask you something? Maybe learning English is like that. Sometimes we say, I'm making mistakes, but maybe we can also say, I'm using English. We say, I'm speaking slowly, but maybe we can also say, I'm speaking. We say, I forgot a word, but maybe we can also say, I'm learning it again. The same moment can look very different. It depends on where you look. Can I tell you one more thing? Imagine holding a small glass. The glass is half full of water. You can look at the empty part. Or you can look at the water you already have. Your English is the same. There are many things you do not know. That is true. But there are also many things you already know. Words, sentences, stories, sounds, small conversations. Do not forget them. Sometimes, worry makes us look only at the empty space. What don't I know? What can I do? Why am I not better? But growth becomes easier to see when you also ask, what can I do now? Maybe you can understand this story. Maybe you can read simple English. Maybe you can answer easy questions. Maybe you can say how you feel. That matters. So the next time you feel disappointed, do not only look at what is missing, look at what is already there. Then, use it, enjoy it, and keep growing. Can I ask you another question? How do you talk to yourself when English feels difficult? Do you say, I'm terrible at English? I'm too slow. I always forget. I'll never be good. Can we think about one little girl? She was learning to draw. One afternoon, she tried to draw a horse. She looked at the picture. The legs were strange. The head was too big. The horse looked funny. The girl became angry. This is terrible. Her older brother looked at the picture. He smiled. I like it. The girl looked surprised. You do? Yes. It looks like a horse who ate too much cake. The girl started laughing. Then, Her brother sat beside her. Are you going to draw another one? The girl shook her head. No. Why? I'm bad at drawing. Her brother thought for a moment. Then he asked, would you say that to me? What? If I drew a bad horse, would you say, you're terrible? Stop drawing? The girl shook her head. No. What would you say? The girl thought, maybe. Try again? Her brother smiled. Then why don't you say that to yourself? The girl became quiet. She looked at the funny horse. Then she picked up another piece of paper. She began again. Can I ask you something? Would you talk to another English learner the way you sometimes talk to yourself? If your friend forgot a word, would you say, you're terrible at English? Probably not. You might say, that's okay. You'll remember next time. If your friend made a grammar mistake, would you say, you should stop speaking? No. You might say, keep going. So why do we sometimes give kindness to everyone except ourselves? Can I tell you one more thing? The voice inside your mind travels with you every day. Make it a helpful voice when you make a mistake. Say, that's okay. When you forget, say, I can learn it again. When you feel slow, say, I'm still moving. These are simple words, but simple words can change the way a journey feels. Children need kind teachers. Adults do too. And sometimes, you must become your own kind teacher. Not a teacher who says, everything is perfect, but a teacher who says, yes, this is difficult. Now try again. That is kindness. That is patience. And that can help you continue. Can I share one more story with you? There was an old woman who loved making bread. Every Sunday morning, she went into her kitchen. She mixed flour, water, salt. Then, she waited. Her granddaughter often watched her. One morning, the girl asked, why do you wait so long? The old woman smiled. The bread needs time. Can we make it faster? No. What if we use more flour? The old woman laughed. No. What if we put it in the oven now? It won't be ready. The girl looked at the dough. It isn't doing anything. The old woman smiled. It looks that way. They waited. After some time, the dough became bigger. The girl looked surprised. It's growing. The old woman nodded. Yes, but I didn't see it growing. That happens sometimes. Later, they put the bread in the oven. Soon, the kitchen smelled warm and sweet. The girl smiled. Now I understand. Her grandmother looked at her. What do you understand? Some things are changing even when I can't see them. Can I ask you something? Could your English be changing in the same way? Maybe today, you do not feel different. Maybe tomorrow, you still make the same mistake. Maybe next week, you forget another word. So you think, nothing is changing. But inside you, something may be growing. Your ears are becoming more comfortable with English sounds. Simple phrases are becoming easier to remember. Your mouth is learning new movements. Your mind is connecting words faster. You may not see these changes every day, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Can I tell you one more thing? Quiet growth is still growth. The sun rises slowly. A tree grows slowly. Bread changes quietly. And people learn slowly too. You do not need to stand in front of the mirror every morning and ask, am I different now? Just continue. Give your English what it needs. Stories, words, practice. your voice, patience. Then, give it time. One day, something that felt difficult will feel easier. You may not even remember when it changed. You will simply notice, oh, I understand this. Or, oh, I answered without thinking so much. That moment will come. Then another. And another. So do not worry when you cannot see your growth. Keep giving the dough time to rise. Keep giving the tree water. Keep giving yourself another day to learn. Before we finish our story, can we stay together for one more moment? At the beginning, we talked about a young woman sitting in a park. She was worried about her English. Then an old woman pointed at a small tree. The tree was not the tallest. It was not the biggest. It did not have the most leaves. But it was growing. Can we return to that tree? Imagine it 1 year later. It is taller now. Its branches are longer. There are more leaves. But something is interesting. The tree did not grow because it worried. It did not grow because it compared itself with other trees. It did not grow because it became angry about yesterday. It grew because, day after day, it received what it needed: water, sunlight, good soil, and time. Maybe your English can grow the same way. You do not need to worry about your accent every day. Practice speaking clearly. Then use your voice. You do not need to carry every grammar mistake. Learn, then continue. You do not need to become angry when you forget a word. Meet it again. You do not need to be afraid of speaking slowly. Give your words time. You do not need to understand everything. Stay with the main idea. You do not need to become another learner. Walk your own road. And you do not need to know exactly when you will become fluent. Take care of today. Can I ask you one final question? What would happen if you put down one worry today? Only one. Maybe tomorrow. Your English would feel a little lighter. Maybe you would speak one sentence you were afraid to say. Maybe you would enjoy a story without stopping every minute. Maybe you would make a mistake and simply continue. That may sound small, but small changes can change a long journey. Can I tell you one final thing? Worry often tells us, you need to become better before you can enjoy this. But maybe you can enjoy the journey now, with your accent, with your mistakes, with your forgotten words, with your slow sentences, with all the things you still do not know. You are allowed to enjoy learning while you are still learning. You are allowed to feel proud before you are fluent. You are allowed to use simple English. You are allowed to grow slowly. Do not wait until the end of the road to be kind to yourself. You need that kindness now. Today, on this step, at this level, with the English you have. So keep learning, keep listening, keep speaking, keep trying. But when worry becomes too heavy, put something down. Look at the road. Remember why you started. Then, take one more step. You do not need to run. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to arrive before anyone else. Just continue. One word at a time. One sentence at a time. One story at a time. Maybe your English is growing more than you can see. Maybe you are doing better than you think. And maybe the journey becomes easier when you stop asking yourself to carry so much. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. And thank you for continuing your journey. Carry practice. Carry patience. Carry curiosity. Carry joy. But leave some of your worry beside the road. Your steps may feel lighter. your journey may feel warmer. And tomorrow, you can walk a little farther. See you in the next story.